Bigger than oil. I mean, data centers could be bigger than oil. You have the Texas oil.
It's one of those mixes. Here you go. All right. You guys see this? City leaders face death threats across the country as tensions grow over data centers. Insert FDR quote here, first and foremost. Second, I'm sure you guys have seen it, and I haven't really covered it because it's kind of more depressing than it is anything else. But the number of town hall meetings that I've seen where people are like, hey, we don't want, JFK quote, we don't want data centers in our neighborhoods. We don't want the data centers. We don't want the data centers. We are going to use every avenue that we can to fight the data center. And all the local representatives push against the data center, and then they build the data center anyways. And it's like, So if you try and use all possible avenues to fight against a policy that you're not interested in, because you don't want to deal with constant like humming in the background, and they build it anyways.
Data centers have emerged as a key issue in the upcoming
I'm gonna try and find the video of like
midterm elections. Now, if you've heard about data centers, chances are you probably don't like them. A new survey from the University of Pennsylvania shows that 61% of Americans oppose the construction of data centers in their area. This is a huge spike. It's up from 49% in the same poll back in March. And it crosses party lines. 69% of Democrats and 54% of Republicans now oppose new data centers in their area. An internal GOP memo reported on by Axios today notes how politically toxic data centers have become. The memo warns that Ohio Republican Senator John Husted may lose his re-election bid to his Democratic challenger, the former Senator Sherrod Brown, in large part because Brown has tied Husted to support for data centers. According to the memo, quote, if he loses, meaning Husted, and data centers get the blame, politicians across the country will take notice and they will not go near the next one. This has become a sleeper issue for the entire election cycle, end quote. Axios also reports that sources within the GOP have told them that, quote, internal polls show data centers are as popular as spent nuclear waste, end quote. Now, amid all this uproar, it's important to slow down for a second and understand what data centers actually are before you go out fully hating on them. Data centers are not new. They are a range of specific types, but put simply, that data centers are buildings that contain large numbers of computer servers and storage. They're the backbone of the internet. Website hosting, cloud storage, streaming media.
And the reality is people aren't mad at just data centers. People are mad at data centers that are specifically being used for AI, which is particularly water intensive and also serves no fucking purpose. People use the internet every day. It serves a purpose. How else am I going to play my video games on the internet? How else am I going to flame my bot laner without the internet? It has improved my life. AI is not improving my life. Okay, so we built all these data centers. We're using all this water so I can get a product that I'm never going to use that sucks shit for a bubble that's going to burst in a little bit? Oh, wow. What a great way to spend our money.
Email, just about anything that you do that involves a device connected to the internet relies on a data center somewhere. The more online our society has become, the more need there is for data centers. Think of all the smartphones, all the streaming platforms, all the Wi-Fi connected devices that we didn't have 1 or 2 decades ago. But that's not it. And here's the big part. The recent boom in data center construction is largely...
Oh yeah, AI didn't improve your life. What about all of the new possibilities of being spied on, huh? It's the cat comic again. It's like, dude, who installed a flock camera inside of my house? Well, if you're not doing anything wrong, what's the problem?
Tied to the emergence of artificial intelligence technology. That has pushed the demand for computing power, which requires new data centers, ever higher. According to analysis by Axios from December, nearly 3,000 new data centers are under construction or planned across the United States, adding to the more than 4,000 already in operation. But while data centers may be the backbone of the technology upon which we all rely, there are several significant drawbacks to them, and people are now taking notice. For one, They spew harmful and toxic chemicals into the air. According to the Southern Environmental Law Center, one data center built by Elon Musk's XAI in Mississippi includes dozens of unpermitted gas turbines releasing smog-forming pollution, soot, and hazardous chemicals like formaldehyde. Southern Environmental Law Center has filed a lawsuit against XAI, arguing that this violates the Clean Air Act. Data centers also need a monumental amount of energy in order to operate. Also, as Consumer Reports notes, a January 2026 report predicts that U.S. data centers' total combined energy demand will nearly double between 2025 and 2028, which is like adding a country with the energy needs of Spain in just 3 years. And that means power could cost more for everyday consumers. A Bloomberg analysis found that in areas with high concentrations of data centers, electricity costs as much as 267% more than it did 5 years ago. Data centers also use a huge amount of water to cool down all of that equipment. Up to 5 million gallons of water every day, as much as 16,000 plus average U.S. households, according to Environmental Protection Agency estimates. To make the situation worse, about 2/3 of the data centers built since 2002 are in areas already experiencing water stress. That's according to a Bloomberg News investigation. And while big tech companies and their allies tout the job creation potential of data centers, and while these projects can create some short-term construction jobs, it's a very different story once data centers are up and running. A 2025 review by Business Insider found that on average, a data center employs 150 workers. Some have as few as 25 employees. In some cases, it's even lower. One data center in Rockland County, New York, owned by JP Morgan Chase, employs 5 people full-time. It's currently in the midst of a massive expansion, which will add 1 permanent job to the community, according to the Rockland County Times, citing official application documents. So the project is receiving $77 million in tax breaks and subsidies, which, according to the Rockland County Times, makes for, quote, the highest amount of subsidies and tax breaks per permanent job anywhere in the country. $77 million in tax breaks and 1 job. 38 states offer dedicated tax initiatives to data centers. And amid all this public backlash, Democrats and Republicans alike are turning against data centers. But President Donald Trump remains a staunch supporter. Last month, his administration announced a plan to repurpose federal land to build data centers. And today he said that Americans should welcome data centers into their communities, calling them beautiful.
He also said this
I
shit
think it's a
about it.
mistake.
President Trump says Governor Greg Abbott's data center pause is a mistake.
Texas the other day sort of is against data centers. I think it's a mistake. And I'm not taking positions, or I just think it's a mistake because there are other communities that want it. When a community wants it, it means a lot of money is going to come into that community.
Unsightly, potentially.
Well, I don't think they're unsightly. I mean, I'm looking at some of these data centers, the most incredible buildings I've ever seen. They go for 2.5, 3 miles. They're 3 miles by 3 miles.
They're necessary for the technology.
Well, but I think they are tremendously important for the economics. I mean, this is for Texas to say no to data centers is a mistake in the sense that it could be bigger than oil. I mean, data centers could be bigger than oil. You have the Texas oil, and there are a lot of communities that want it, but more important,
There are a lot of communities that want them. Here's one such example of the communities that want them. We found the hidden cost of data centers. It's in your electric bill.
Share. The numbers don't lie.
We saw customers with bills $900, over $1,000.
When I've noticed my electric bill gone up, I started asking my neighbors, is your bill also going up? And they had no idea.
Totally irrelevant. Why is the background music kind of giving Terraria? It's a totally irrelevant point, but I need all of you to hear it too.
That this was happening.
If you live in any of these states, your electric bill is higher this summer. It's not because of anything you did. You're paying more because the world's biggest tech companies are building so many data centers. Big tech's quest for artificial intelligence is creating a tidal wave of new costs that are about to hit all of us, even if you live nowhere near a data center. If policymakers fail to change anything, by one estimate, electricity rates for average households will spike by as much as 70%.
The big problem is that we're all subsidizing the wealthiest corporations in the world in their pursuit of artificial intelligence.
Cassandra Linez lives in northern New Jersey. In July, she got an electric bill that caught her attention.
The thing I noticed right away was compared to the same time last year, my bill has gone up, but also I noticed my usage went down.
I wanted to understand why Cassandra and her neighbors are suddenly paying so much more for electricity every month. Between 2021 and 2024, the number of data centers nationwide nearly doubled. Many factors determine what we pay for electricity, but to understand how data centers are making it more expensive, it's important to know that the price that utility companies pay for power is set in regional markets. The biggest of those is a market known as the PJM.
They had a big, what's known as a capacity auction last year. Last year's capacity auction broke all records.
The prices went up by 800%.
David Lapp represents ratepayers in Maryland, another PJM state. He explained to me that when utilities have to pay a higher capacity price, they pass it on to consumers in the form of supply charges. According to the PJM's independent monitor, data centers were responsible for 63% of last year's price increase.
And it's not.
Oh, that's so good. Aren't you guys so happy? Aren't you guys so happy that you're doing that? You're subsidizing all of the AI data centers. Isn't that so good?
Not just PJM. We're seeing this happen across the country.
To lure data centers to their service areas, utilities have started cutting direct deals with big tech, typically hidden from the public.
The concern with these deals is that the data center may be underpaying, and so our rates will go up in order to finance a sweetheart deal for a data center.
Big tech is literally the wealthiest, most profitable industry in the world. They have the capacity to pull out their pocketbooks.
It's kind of giving peak, like, some of you may pay more, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
And cover their costs associated with this data center expansion.
Well, okay, so you're paying more so that other people can generate images of large-breasted women. Okay, I mean, sure. I mean, how bad is that? You know, it's not that bad. It's not like it sucks to live next to, other than the fact that you pay more, right? Wrong.
This is our cold water pressure in the kitchen. This is where I fill up water for storage. Those are the things we have to fill up to flush the
video is titled, I live 400 yards away from Mark Zuckerberg's massive data center.
Toilets.
So you can see the sediment from the data center. Wow, and that's just from the water coming out of your faucet.
Yeah, and this is what's in all the pipes.
Just the well itself is probably $20,000, and that's not counting any of the
all
faucets,
the replacement of the fixtures and faucets and toilets and the lines that come underneath the house. It's overwhelming because you really feel like you are up against this huge wall that you can't penetrate. There's nothing that...
Okay, so you're paying more money on your electric bill. Your water pressure is non-existent, and all of your water is filled with like debris and sediment. But like, you know, that's not that bad. It's not like living next to any of these farms or data centers makes your life hell. More Perfect Union posted the video. I live 500 feet from a Bitcoin mine. My life is hell.
I'm with the Browning family. I don't know if you can hear this, but this little noise meter tells me that there are unhealthy levels of noise.
Something strange is happening in this small town 70 miles outside of Dallas, Texas. An invisible force is creeping through the community, ruining residents' lives.
They just moved in on top of us. I have a constant headache right in the back of my head or either over my eyes. I've been in the hospital 2 or 3 times.
Every family here is sick.
Somebody has to die to get somebody's attention.
I see the impact on their lives. There's just nothing I can do.
The cause is just a few hundred feet from the house owned by the Brownings, a massive Bitcoin mine.
I'm in Granbury, Texas, the site of a Bitcoin mining facility operated by Marathon Digital Holdings. Hundreds of metal boxes contain tens of thousands of computers running 24 hours a day, consuming around 300 megawatts of electricity needed to mine for Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency. That's comparable to that of a city the size of Austin, with nearly 500,000 households. Bitcoin mines like this are part of an industry projected to reach $2.25 billion in size in 2025. And much of the industry is located here in Texas, where cheap energy, lax rules and regulations, and politicians at the state and federal level who are all in on crypto.
Unleash crypto. Come to Texas. Texas is the oasis.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott appears to be pushing for our state to become more involved with cryptocurrency, saying, quote, Texas is already the home of crypto mining. In this session, Texas should become the crypto capital, end quote.
We are promoting it, we are advancing it, and we want to create a framework that will allow all of that to excel here.
We came to Texas to find out what happens when a state becomes the center of the Bitcoin universe. Who's winning and who's losing? What's the true cost of cryptocurrency and who should be paying for it?
Oh, you guys telling me you wouldn't want to live next to this noise? You're telling me this isn't pleasant to you? You don't want to live next to that? Really, what is the difference between that white noise and birds chirping, forest sound? Really, you guys are going to tell me that these are so different? Oh, this is so much better than this, huh? Oh, okay. All right. I see how it is. Mm-hmm. Sure, man. Wait, these are... You're telling me you would rather live by this noise than this?
Well, I went to the window and I listened and I thought, man.
Yeah, I don't believe you. Yeah, I don't fucking believe you.
This is going to be a rough night, and it was. So, it'd be a long day for me.
You'll have to take a nap after a while.
We don't have time for a nap. Not today. I do need that coffee.
Nick and Virginia Browning have called Granbury home for 35 years. They're now in their 80s and hope to be enjoying their golden years in this rural community an hour and a half southwest of Dallas.
When we first moved out here, it was real quiet still. We had all kind of animals out here, and we loved it out here.
But 3 years ago, Bitcoin mining started to disrupt their peace, and they say it's been hell ever since.
This is maddening. This is maddening to me, and I just want to scream at somebody. Now I have to worry about vertigo. I also have to worry about my brain not working right.
It never goes away. Headaches never go away.
In Texas, the legal limit for noise is 85 decibels. Researchers have found that prolonged exposure can impact hearing and cardiovascular health, increase blood pressure and heart rate. Other potential risks.
It's so funny to try and talk about. Let me pull this up. Hold up. It's so funny to try and pretend like people actually like data centers and to try and like reframe any of this stuff as like, no, people like data centers actually. Data centers are just so benign and people don't even care about the data centers. They really don't even care. Meanwhile, Missouri town fires half of its city council over data center deal. Residents of a St. Louis suburb turned out in droves to unseat four incumbents just days after the council approved a development agreement for a $6 billion data center. I saw like also some reporting about people that went through all of the right channels to try and fight against a data center that was going to get built. And I think like even the local court found that the data center was not meant to be built and should not be built. And then it was built anyways. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. All right. Good. But for sure, dude. For sure. Trump says towns and states should welcome beautiful data centers. Okay, you know what, man? How about we do this? You build a data center in Mar-a-Lago, and then we can consider it. How about that? Mm-hmm. All right, let's put this here. Close. Ballroom data center. like literally, I cannot believe it.
And I can say if I were the mayor of a town or the governor of a state, and I had a chance to get a big plant in, an AI plant or a data center, I would absolutely want it because the jobs are enormous and the money paid, the taxes paid are just enormous. And if you don't take it, you're going to be left behind because there are plenty of places that want it. So I would say that maybe it can use a little public relations help. But if I were a governor or mayor, I would want that plant in my. And I can say if I were the mayor of a town or the governor of a state and I had a chance to get a big plant in, an AI plant.
Did you guys consider that? Motherfucker lost his mind over having visible wind turbines off the coast of his shitty golf course in Scotland. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me close this stuff. Sorry, this one was pretty good. New York City to turn underused parking lot into over 200 units of affordable housing. This monster. That could have been a data center. That's amazing. All right. Now. LMFAO, what jobs? It's a building with nothing but servers. You'll have initial construction jobs, sure, but what after that? Hardly any permanent jobs? Yeah. I mean, you'll have people that have to maintain the servers, but that's not the job promotion that they're presenting. 20 people at most? Yeah. I mean, they talked about it a little bit in the segment that we were watching, that like, it's... Where is it?
Average, a data center in 2020, adding to the more than 4,000 already in operation. But while data centers may be the backbone of the technology upon which we all rely, there are several significant drawbacks to them, and people are now taking notice. For one, they spew harmful and toxic chemicals into the air. According to the Southern Environmental Law Center, one data center built by Elon Musk's XAI in Mississippi includes dozens of unpermitted gas turbines releasing smog-forming pollution, soot, and hazardous chemicals like formaldehyde. The Southern Environmental Law Center has filed a lawsuit against XAI, arguing that this violates the Clean Air Act. Data centers also need a monumental amount of energy in order to operate. Also, as Consumer Reports notes, a January 2026 report predicts that U.S. data centers' total combined energy demand will nearly double between 2025 and 2028, which is like adding a country with the energy needs of Spain in just 3 years. And that means power could cost more for everyday consumers. A Bloomberg analysis found that in areas with high concentrations of data centers, electricity costs as much as 267% more than it did 5 years ago. Data centers also use a huge amount of water to cool down all of that equipment. Up to 5 million gallons of water every day, as much as 16,000 plus average U.S. households, according to Environmental Protection Agency estimates. To make the situation worse, about 2/3 of the data centers built since 2002 are in areas already experiencing water stress. That's according to a Bloomberg News investigation. And while big tech companies and their allies tout the job creation potential of data centers, and while these projects can create some short-term construction jobs, it's a very different story once data centers are up and running. A 2025 review by Business Insider found that on average, a data center employs 150 workers. Some have as few as 25 employees. In some cases, it's even lower. One data center in Rockland County, New York, owned by J.P. Morgan Chase, employs 5 people full-time. It's currently in the midst of...
Guys, we're going to bring jobs to your city. Okay? 5 jobs. Huh? My mother was a job created by AI data centers. Excuse you. Sorry, this chatter. I currently do political opinion polls for a living from the people I've spoken to. Nobody wants data centers. Also, Texas is going to be way more blue than people think it's going to be. I've gotten tons of folk porn in the 30s and 40s who voted red their entire life who are voting blue this year. It's crazy. Born. Asterisk. Destroyed by a cat-caused typo. Love it. That's a brutal typo. That is a brutal typo. That is so brutal. I mean, the polling shows that, like, it is more likely for people in rural neighborhoods to dislike or be against data centers more so than urban areas. Shockingly, surprisingly, because if you live in, like, the middle of New York City, you don't have to worry about a data center being built in, like, Manhattan. There's not enough land to build like data centers. But if you live in the middle of like Texas where the rent and the land is really cheap, yeah, they're going to build a fucking data center there if they can. So the people that are dealing with it the most are the people who are living in rural areas. So they dislike it even more than the people in urban areas who aren't even going to probably experience a data center near them. They also know what quiet sounds like. Oh, I mean, yeah, that's like one of the major appeals of living out in the sticks or whatever, right? That you get to like have real quiet. I'm New York born and raised, so I like the background noise. I like hearing the fucking fire truck in the middle of the night. It's ASMR for me, you know? So I don't really need quiet, but also I wouldn't like a constant hum. That would drive me fucking insane. New York City ASMR. Like this. This is my idea of quiet. But this is like, there's a bunch of varying noises and a bunch of different types of noises. It's not just like, but if you like quiet, like real quiet, and then you get this fucking humming noise near you, it's like, yeah, I can't imagine that would be very fun. I can't imagine that you would want that. I can't imagine that you would like that. And I can't imagine that you would support data centers being built near you. Oh, all of that was pre-gaming for this video.
Data centers have become this huge flashpoint across the country, and even in some cases, turning violent. A small town in Iowa is just the latest example. Take a look. City leaders delayed this meeting after receiving online death threats over a proposed plan to build a new data center in town. Earlier this year in Indianapolis, someone shot at this councilman's home, leaving this no data center note on his doorstep. Tom Winter's been following this and has more on the troubling trend.
Yeah, Ryan, as you know, for the past year, we've been focused on data centers and we've been focused on the electrical usage. Is there enough power on the grid to be able to supply electricity to not just data centers, but to the homes and businesses that already have them?
And let me just say also, in hindsight, why would you fight the people that are going to be the most likely to pull out the shotgun? Like, I'm going to be honest, the shit that I do in New York and the way that I act in New York is very different than how I act in other states. Because in New York, you could just like fucking scream at someone. No, and people, there's no expectation, first of all, that someone's going to have a gun or that someone's going to fucking shoot you, right? In other states, it's like, especially in the South, it's like, you know, it's not that serious for me. It's not. I actually don't know if you're carrying, and it's not that serious for me. Whatever the issue is, it's not that serious. I'm good. I'm good. There's a video by a YouTuber that actually talks about the harmful effects of the infrared. Well, it's not infrared sounds, it's infrasound, I think. That isn't perceptible by humans and causes severe harm to some vulnerable people. Could I link it in chat? Well, I don't want to watch that because I want to get to the stuff that we have to get to. And if we get into too much of an AI data center stun lock, we're not going to get to anything else. But yeah, it's not good. Shocking. Isn't that shocking?
Enough water, enough ability to air condition these data centers that throw off a lot of heat. There's been debate locally about the appearance of these data centers, not exactly masterpieces in architecture. And there's even been, just as recently as this week, discussions about the financing of data centers raised by Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. But the idea of threats over these data centers, particularly focused on politicians, is something, as you suggested, is really starting to come to the forefront here, and is even in one instance involved the FBI. There was a incident in April of this year where 13 shots were fired, as you mentioned, into a Councilman Ron Gibson's home in Indianapolis. The FBI is taking a look at that case. So far, no arrests that we're aware of. You've got an incident just a couple of days ago in Marshall, Michigan, where there was a what's been described as...
I mean, what do you think people are going to do when they protest the data center? They call their local representatives because they don't want a data center. They show up to every town hall to fight the data center. And then you give the AI company the data center they want anyways. What?
a legitimate or credible death threat there to the city council as they approved a 1-year moratorium on data centers in Salix, Iowa. There was a discussion in threats that were made following a consideration by the city council there for a 1-year data center moratorium, and then additional death threats in Emporia, Kansas, that led to city council members there having virtual.
I live in Indy, and there's some pretty strong evidence that Gibson staged the shooting at his home because he doesn't even really live there. I mean, even if he didn't stage it, or even if he did stage it, what's the point of staging something like this? Do you think people are going to have sympathy for you? People are going to be like, then stop fucking building the data center. If people hate it this much and you are meant to represent the interests of the people, then why the fuck are you building the data center? It's like the Luigi Mangione thing. It's like people like Ben Shapiro really thought they were going to go online and say, this is crazy. The left-wing violence is out of fucking control. And then everyone in his audience were like, no, we don't like United Healthcare either. And actually, we don't give a fuck about whatever shitty thing happened to someone like that. That guy was a scumbag. I'm not saying anyone else should go and fucking cheer that shit on or like should go and do more. But I'm not going to cry over some piece of shit who I know has denied me healthcare and a bunch of people I love healthcare. Like, fuck that. What the fuck? Fuck that. I'm not shedding tears for this piece of shit. That's what Republicans were saying. That's what the Republicans are saying.
Meetings going back to something that hadn't happened, according to people commenting on that decision in the community, hadn't happened going back to COVID. So there are definitely now threats about this. The political violence has been well covered over the last couple of years, and now the question is really the data center issue the key lightning rod here going forward? And are we going to see more threats, and are there going to be arrests as a result of that? It just points to the fact that this is really becoming a heated debate.
I like how there's no discussion about how disliked data centers are. Wow, people must feel really strongly about this. Oh, okay. No, you don't want to. Oh, all right. Let's close all this stuff. Close. No. Oh no. New Fantano episode.